Wilmington Community Television's playoff football coverage. Friday night here at Alumni Field in Wilmington. The Gloucester Fishermen travel to Wilmington to take on the 6-1 Wilmington Wildcats. My name's Chris Neville. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm alongside Scott Edwards to call tonight's game. Scott, it's been an incredible season so far for the Wildcats, completely unexpected. What are your thoughts on how the season's gone so far?
It's been an exciting season to watch and call up here in the booth. I've enjoyed every minute. It's been good to see change in this Wildcat football. As past few years have been tough, but they finally bounced back and had their best year in a while.
It's senior night for the band parents and the senior members of the band. They've all been introduced on the field. We'll be back for tonight's national anthem and the opening kickoff right after this. Welcome back to Wilmington High School tonight. The Division IV North quarterfinal playoff game between the Wilmington Wildcats and the Gloucester Fishermen. Wilmington comes into the game at 6-1. Gloucester comes in at a very strong 5-2. They get the probably the bad draw on the seeding, but very strong performance by Gloucester this year. The Wildcats come in on a roll. They've won 3 games in a row after an early season loss to Melrose. Very surprising and a very convincing win over Stoneham last week, another equally ranked team down at Stoneham High School. Wilmington has won the toss. They've elected to defer to the second half, so they'll be kicking off to the Fishermen to start the game tonight. Deep back for the Gloucester Fishermen, Mark Smith, number 32, and number 28, Jan Pena Ortiz. It's a short squib kick taken, fair catch caught at the 36-yard line by one of the upmen. There was a marker on the play. And we're already off to a penalized start of the game. Adam Bishop is back in the game for Wilmington. He kicked off. He had some struggles. He got hurt a couple of weeks ago, but he's back in action tonight. So Gloucester will take over 1st and 10 at their own 36-yard line, led by quarterback Matt Smith, number 13. Actually, I see quarterback James Nelson, number 11, has control of the Fishermen as they come out on their first play from scrimmage. Hand off to the first running back through, picks up about 3 or 4 yards. Should be Pena Ortiz on that carry, number 28.
Their scheme looks like it's a lot of pound the ball down the middle, straight up. Lots of running tonight, it looks like.
They play a wing tee offense, primarily run-based, but they do open it up. And from what I saw a couple of weeks ago, they got a couple of pretty good receivers that can get open downfield. Calvin Spencer comes out wide to the left. Nelson in a quarterback. Full backfield. Handoff up the middle. Again, it's stopped for no gain. Pena Ortiz. Wilmington defense in on that one. Dean Nally.
Yeah, that just showed how they've been all year, stopping plays left and right.
Kyle Kenyon in on that tackle as well. 3rd and 5.
Yeah, I think they're going to throw it here.
Back to pass. Throws the ball downfield. It's complete, wide open. Number 2, Oliver Emerson. He's taken down inside Wilmington territory at the 37-yard line of Wilmington.
Looks he was forgotten coverage on that bootleg. It worked out well for Gloucester, and there is a first down. Connor Benoit checking into the game for Wilmington.
Nelson calling signals. 2 men in the backfield. Handoff up the middle. Stop for little or no gain. Pena Ortiz again, certainly the bull running back for the Fishermen.
We seem to go with the powerhouse running. Going straight up the middle 3 times now.
Second and 8 from the 35. Early on here in the first quarter, it's a beautiful night for football. Chilly but clear. Perfect night. Shift on the offensive line for Gloucester. Long signal count by Nelson. Handoff again. Couple of yards off the right tackle.
Their game plan calls for a lot of Pena Ortiz. I can already see it now. That's 3 rushes for him. Now after a short gain, it'll be 3rd and 7.
Line shifts again. Oliver Emerson tight on the right tight end spot. Nelson calls signals. Handoff, reverse play up the middle. A lot of room. Good running room and just enough for a first down. Mark Smith on that carry.
Good trickery on that one. That's hurt the Wildcats a few times this season. Lots of trick plays by the opposing offense that gets big gains.
So Fishermen with an early drive here in the first quarter, just outside the 25-yard line. Nelson hands off up the middle, and he stopped for no gain. Handoff was to Mark Smith. There is a penalty marker on the far side of the play. Looks like it's going to be offside against Wilmington.
After a big play that hurts. Looked like Valley was in on that one, along with the rest of his line. Lots of calls this season, but that's what you expect in high school football.
Too bad it was for a 2-yard loss, so now it's an automatic 5-yard gain, 1st and 5 from the 21. Ryan Argentino in the backfield behind Nelson. Back to pass is Nelson. He sprints out to the right. Pressure's on. They get him in the backfield. They actually stopped for a 5-yard loss.
Well, looks like a sack for Captain Tyler Roberts. Another big play this season for him on the defensive side.
The Wilmington co-captains have really stepped up their game this year, starting with Graham Smith. But Roberts has really taken on a leadership role. Mark and Nerenstad as well.
Big play. Makes that penalty pretty much voided.
So 2nd and 10. And we have a whistle on the play. That's a delay of game penalty, so that'll put the Fishermen back another 5 yards.
The Fishermen going with a lot of hard counts so far early on. Wilmington looks to be not affected, thankfully.
Unfortunately, they shot themselves in the foot. They had a nice easy 1st and 5, and now it's 2nd and 15.
Well, we know they can throw, so nothing's out of the question here.
Nelson hands off on the sprint around the right side to Mark Smith, who's got a little bit open running room, taken down at the 25-yard line. He picks up the 5 yards lost on the last penalty.
Great tackle by John Kenny on that one. Come from the corner position, able to bring him down.
So big play coming up here, 3rd and 9, just inside the 29-yard line. Down here, it's probably 4 down territory for Gloucester. One receiver out to the right, Calvin Smith. Another receiver, Mark Smith, goes in motion, back to pass. Nelson is being chased around the right corner, a lot of open running room, and it looks like he's rushed for a first down. Down to the 15-yard line.
Unlike the last bootleg, that one was able to give him some open room and get a first down. First and 10 from the 15.
Nice sprint out by Nelson, picked up 10 yards. So the Fishermen continue on the move. Man in motion is Smith. Pitch back to Pena Ortiz. Cuts back, finds a little bit open running room, gains about 3 or 4 yards.
Pena Ortiz with a lot of movement on that one, a few jukes, and able to get a solid gain after it looked like it was going to be a loss on the pitch.
I was watching him on one of the Gloucester cable games a few weeks ago, and he reminds me a lot of John Kenny with his ability to move and juke back and forth. Creates a lot of space for himself. So, handoff up the middle. It's going to be close, but shy of a first down. Going off a right tackle. So 3rd and 2. See if the Wildcat defense can step up here. Nelson handoff right up the middle, and he is stuffed.
Looks like
so
those
no get.
Handoffs up the middle have been stopped a lot tonight. Seems the ones to the outside get the big gainer so far.
Paxton Cook, Mark and Neristat in on the tackle. So it's a big 4th down play. Wildcats haven't had the ball yet. We're down to only 3 minutes left in the first quarter, so Gloucester has really chewed up this drive. And we have a timeout on the field, timeout Wilmington.
Lots of clock draining down so far.
Coach Turner wants to make sure that everybody's on the same page here. If there's a chance to stop him, I'm sure he would like to do so.
Big play coming up already in this ball game. As in the playoffs, every play matters.
Speaking of playoffs, we want to congratulate the girls field hockey team for an outstanding season this year, and especially congratulate Jill Mealy, a senior 3-sport athlete who broke the regular season, actually a career scoring record for Wilmington High School field hockey players. She was honored last week. Nice story about her in this week's Town Crier. So as usual, the Wildcats have a very strong girls field hockey and soccer team as well. So congratulations to them as they get ready to start the playoffs themselves about a week from now.
Tell the offense is itching to get in right now. Lots of clock gone, and they know they can make a mark on this football game.
So Paxton Cook, Kyle Kenyon, Mark Nerenstadt, Dean Nally, all lined up on the defensive line. Nelson calling signals. He's keeps the ball. He's back to pass. He sprints out to the right. He's being chased. Kenyon behind, trying to get him. The block in the back. There's a flag on the play. Passes downfield, and it's incomplete in the end zone. Tyler Roberts was, Graham Smith was almost in on top of him. He got blocked in the back. So that's going to be a penalty against Gloucester. I'm sure it's going to be declined. And Wilmington should be taking over on downs.
What a crazy play on that one. Nelson was able to spin out of a few tackles, ultimately leading to a penalty, but that was a tough play, but thankfully the Wildcats stayed with it.
If you're watching us online, feel free to back up your YouTube or WCTV coverage. You can watch that again. So Wilmington takes the ball over inside their own 10-yard line at about the 8. Comes out Graham Smith at quarterback. John Kenny in the backfield. 3 receivers split out wide to the right. Handoff is to Kenny, who cuts off right tackle, slips free for a gain of about 5 yards out to the 13 or 14-yard line.
Another run by Kenny where it looks like he's going to get stopped for a little rush and is able to get about 4 more yards.
You commented before tonight's game what a godsend he's been for Coach Turner and the Wildcats this year.
It's unfortunate we only get him here for one season, but he has been everything remarkable for this team.
And everything that he opens up in the running game certainly makes other opportunities in the passing game. So we got Robertson, I think Kenny in the backfield now. Another handoff up the middle. Stop for no gain, maybe a loss of a yard. That was also to John Kenny. So Wildcats are faced with 3rd and a little over 4 from their own 14-yard line.
You know, they won't be afraid to run it here, even though it's short. They have trusted their run all season. Why give up in the playoffs, huh?
One guy who really stepped up, especially last week, the wide receiver, Mike Ducharme. Scored a couple touchdowns last week. Fake handoff. Actually, just handed off to Roberts, who runs, and he's just outside the 15, 17-yard line. I don't think it's enough for a first down, and it will bring up punt formation for the Wildcats. 4th and 1 from their own 17-yard line. Roberts looked like he was going to get stopped for no gain. He was able to push forward for 2 or 3 more yards.
Both teams going with a lot of rushing early on, as that's what got them here. So we'll see what happens as the game progresses.
Graham Smith is in to punt for the Wildcats, standing at his own 5-yard line. Gets the ball away. Pretty good kick. Taken downfield. And it's a fumble, and Wilmington recovers.
With a flag on the play.
The receiver, Mark Smith, got his hands on the ball. He was immediately knocked down by one of the Wildcat defenders after there was contact with the football. I'm not sure if that flag is going to be picked up or not. The call's going to go against the Wildcats, and I think when you look at that again on replay, you're going to find out that was unjustified. I mean, the receiver had the option of calling for a fair catch, and he was just going to run with it. He gets stuffed as soon as he hit the ball. Unfortunately for the Wildcats, it's going to be marked out against them back to the 36-yard line.
That was another huge play for Tyler Roberts. It's a shame it got called back because of penalty, and that's a big one. That moves him 15 yards.
You know, I'm not sure if they're going to call him a defenseless receiver, but again, in that case there, the receiver certainly has an option to call a fair catch. Everything looked legal to me. So Gloucester back on the march. Hand off to Pena Ortiz. Stop for a gain of a yard. The 35-yard line.
Again, not a lot of yardage up the middle. You'd think they would keep going to the outside. That's where their big plays have come from.
Mark and Nernstedt in on the tackle for the Wildcats on that.
This defense, led by Roberts and Nernstedt, has been everything they've asked for all season. They continue to show it here.
And we've come to the end of the first quarter. So we're getting ready for the second quarter action. At the end of the first quarter, there's no score. Wilmington nothing, Gloucester nothing. We'll be back with second quarter action right after this message.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Welcome back to second quarter action here at Wilmington's Alumni Field. Gloucester and Wilmington locked in a tight battle thus far. Gloucester has the ball in Wilmington territory at the 35-yard line. Quarterback James Nelson calling signals once again. Handoff to Payne Ortiz, who finds some running room. Nice tackle on the play by Bailey Smith. Linebacker position came up.
That was one of their best gains so far on the run, opposed to, except for Nelson's run earlier on.
So it's 3rd and 5, just outside the 30-yard line, just underway in the second quarter. Everybody in tight for the Fishermen on the line of scrimmage. Once again, back to pass. He lobs it up there. The receiver is open. There's no flag. It's incomplete. Coverage downfield by Peter Marino. Pass was intended for Oliver Emerson down near the goal line.
Wildcats were showing blitz on that one, but they were able to fake it and get back in coverage, thankfully, and that would have been a big play if they all blitzed like it looked.
So from the 36-yard line, Gloucester's going to go for it. Fourth down and 5. Got one wide receiver out split wide to the left. Nelson hands the ball off on the outside to Mark Smith, and he runs free for a first down. But it looks like he might have been marked out just shy of the first down mark.
That's a big call.
It's a huge call, and the Wildcats will be taken over at their own 26-yard line.
It looked like Smith was able to get to the outside and take the first down, but with the measurement, we'll see what happens.
I couldn't see who was on the coverage over on the sideline, but whoever it was pushed him out just in time. There's a measurement on the far sideline, but we know the ball did not reach the down marker, so I'm not sure what they had to measure for.
Huge stop by the Wildcats, and they get the ball back again. This defense is holding up as always.
So it certainly is playoff football tonight, Scott. Two good teams going toe-to-toe against each other.
Every inch matters in these types of games.
Gloucester started their season with 3 victories in a row, and then they lost a very tough game to Lynn Classical. Then they came back and beat Saugus, lost to the number 2 seed in the division, Marblehead, who is also playing tonight. So Wildcats take over, hand off to Kenny, who was stopped for no gain, actually loses a couple of yards.
Looks as if he tripped on that one. I think Coach Turner's going to want to spread it out soon and throw the ball. The runs have kept it slow so far.
This is as good a coverage I've seen any defense against the Wildcats so far this season. Shotgun snap goes to Smith. He keeps it himself, but he's stopped again in the backfield. There's a flag on the play. Smith bobbled the snap, started running with it, didn't really get very far. Personal foul, face mask penalty against Gloucester is really going to open it up for the Wildcats.
It's a huge call after a few losses, and that will give them an automatic first down.
They had him stopped. They didn't need to, I'm sure it was an inadvertent face mask, but face mask just the same. So that brings the ball out to the 40-yard line for the Wildcats, gives them new life.
It's their best field so far. They've only had the ball twice.
See if
Started
they can
second quarter.
get jump started. Jason Valley comes out split wide to the left now. 2 men in the backfield. The ball is snapped and goes right by Smith, who has to pounce on it. It's going to be a 10-yard loss.
Looks like the offense has a few playoff jitters early on. Hopefully they can fix those and get the ball moving. With a long 2nd and 20, they may start to air it out now.
Pretty good crowd here at Alumni Stadium tonight. Took a while to fill in, but the stands are just about full on the Wilmington sideline. Smith back to pass. Launches it downfield, and it's broken up. Another flag on the play. It was intended for Connor Benoit. I'm sure it's a pass interference call.
From up here, it looked like good coverage, but it looks like he might have tugged him back a little bit.
Yeah, we couldn't see it on the backside, but you're right. It did look like good coverage from here.
Referees look confused.
The ball is coming back. Okay, it's going to be a 5-yard penalty, maybe.
Looks to be holding. Oh, maybe not.
All
Okay.
right. Well, we're as confused as anybody. Either way, the ball comes back to the 40-yard line. Defensive holding by Gloucester. And I think that should be an automatic first down.
There you go.
John Kenny squeezes ahead for 2 yards out to the 42. Trying to go over his left tackle.
Lots of confusion out there and up here. Lots of penalties, lots of movement of the ball, not through the offense's hands.
The first playoff game for the Wildcats in several years. Gloucester's been in the playoffs for the last few. Smith rolls out. He finds some open running room around the left sideline. He's knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. So he picked up about 5 yards, 6 yards.
Looks like he had either option there. Saw a running lane, so he took that instead of throw a possible bad throw.
Brings up 3rd and 4 for the Wildcats. Valley split out wide to the left. Roberts split out wide to the right. 2 other receivers. Wilmington calls their second time out of the half with 7:33 to go in the second quarter.
You know, during the break, I saw their Thanksgiving rival, Tewksbury, show up. They packed the stands as well.
So Tewksbury also is having a great season thus far. I can see the red jerseys down to our left. It promises to be a much more competitive Thanksgiving game, even though those games, even when one team is down on their luck, those games always usually turn out pretty competitive.
Last season was one of the better ones in recent memory, I remember.
But Tewksbury has had their number for a number of years now. We'll see how this year goes. 3rd and 4. Kenny on the handoff finds some running room, and he's across the 50-yard line for a first down.
It looks like John Kenny was able to do his usual.
Yeah, don't know how he was able to find space through there. It was a lot of white shirts in the way.
You know, at the beginning of the season, I asked Captain Mark Nerestan who to look out for, and the first person he said was John Kenny. And I think he knew what was up with Kenny.
Chris Medeiros, Connor McKenzie, Mark Nerestan, all tough blocking on the left side of the Wilmington offensive line there. So first down for the Wildcats. For the first time in Gloucester territory, Smith is back to pass. Lets it go deep downfield. Man is open and caught Tyler Roberts is in for a touchdown.
It looked like it was going to get picked off, and Roberts able to stay with it for a Wilmington Wildcats touchdown.
The defensive back had the ball tip off his hands right into the hands of Tyler Roberts, who kept the focus on the ball and scores a very pretty touchdown. 49 yards on the completion.
You know, they went back to the well again. Smith to Roberts has been a key hookup all season long, and it works again in the biggest game of the season.
Well, Adam Bishop comes in for the extra point. Again, he got roughed a couple of weeks ago and missed some time in that game, but in last week as well. This ball is up, and it is good. So with 6:43 to go in the first half, Wildcats jump out to a 7-0 lead against the Gloucester Fishermen.
You know, let's not take that kick lightly. They've had trouble all season, but Bishop nailed that one. Deep, strong kick. The Wildcats will take a 7-0 lead over the Fishermen.
When Smith let that ball go, Scott, I thought there was no chance. The defender had good position on it.
It looked like it was going to be undercut. You could see Roberts was coming in a little bit.
Yeah, I think Roberts was getting ready to make the tackle on the return. That's what it looked like. He made a nice catch on it.
Thankfully, he was able to stay with it, and now the Wildcats have a 7-0 lead.
So for the second time tonight, Wildcats will be kicking off. Adam Bishop again. Tees the ball up at the 40-yard line. Pena Ortiz deep back. Downfield, taken by Mark Smith, who breaks free for a couple of yards. Number 43. So that's John Mondello for Gloucester. If we get any updates on tonight's game, I guess it's not going to make a difference tonight, but big game over in Marblehead tonight against Wakefield. A lot of playoff implications. We'll get to that in a minute. Tight formation for the Fishermen. Man in motion, handoff to the running back Mark Smith, who goes around the left side. Good coverage by the Wildcats, and he's strung out and knocked out of bounds for a loss.
Another play by John Kenny on that one, was able to stay with it and push him out of bounds for the loss.
Knocked out at the 32-yard line for gain of loss of about 2 or 3 yards. Tonight's game between Marblehead and Wakefield. If Marblehead wins, they will host a playoff game next week at Marblehead High School. If Wakefield wins, they will, depending on the results of tonight's game here at Wilmington, they may come back to Wilmington, where they lost about a month ago. Nelson calling signals again. Once again, a long snap count, handoff to Pena Ortiz, who breaks free for some good running room. Picks up about 6 or 7 yards, just over the 40-yard line, a little slow to get up. And if he has a problem, Gloucester's going to have a problem. There's a timeout, official timeout on the field. Pena Ortiz is probably going to have to go off, at least for a play. He hit the ground hard after a 7-yard gain, 8-yard gain. So
Number 17, Romeo Oliver, was able to check in for Pena Ortiz as he goes to get checked on.
So Gloucester's faced with 3rd and 3 from the 41-yard line. Hand up the middle. Is enough for a first down. Almost up to midfield. Romeo Oliver in on the carry, tackled by Dean Nally.
Lots of confusion for Gloucester on the rushes.
Pena Ortiz checks back into the game.
Good to see him okay.
Hand off again over to Mark Smith around the left end. He cuts it back, gained for about 5 or 6 yards. crosses midfield to the Wilmington 44-yard line. Brendan Ross comes into the defensive line for Wilmington. Mark Narenstad comes out. A little confusion on the Wilmington defense here. Another reverse play around the far sideline. He's brought down on a nice tackle by Kyle Kenyon.
Kenyon's had a lot of big plays this season as well for the defense.
Certainly has, yeah.
Feels every player on that defense has had a key play all season long.
So 3rd and 3.
They haven't won aerial in a while. They could go here.
Back to pass. Smith throws it downfield, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Tommy Robarge at the 33-yard line.
Just an overthrow on that one, and Robarge was able to turn around and pick it off for the Wildcats, and that's another big play. Proud to call that play on that one. Knew they were going to pass. Feel like Tony Romo up here.
So Wildcats take over at their own 34. Shout out to Shawsheen Tech, who's also hosting a playoff game tonight down the road against Whittier Tech. Had a good season as well. Won the Cape Ann League the Commonwealth Athletic Conference. Graham Smith breaks free down the right sideline for a huge gain. He cuts back and knocked out of bounds.
Huge play by Graham Smith. He was able to find the crease and exploit it, get in a big game for the Wildcats.
I guess I should stop talking about Shawsheen Tech and start worrying more about what's going on in the field.
It's a quick offense. They don't give you a second to breathe sometimes. Fishermen might say that.
So a big gain for the Wildcats down inside the 40-yard line. 3:14 to go in the first half. A very quick game, as you said, Scott. Mike Ducharme splits out wide to the left. Single man in the backfield. Smith is back to pass, sets up a screen, complete to John Kenny, who has a big hole up the middle. He's down inside the 30, inside the 25, where he's taken down. Perfectly designed.
What a play. It looked like Graham Smith was going to take a big loss, but the screen worked out perfectly. That's what helps with having a mobile quarterback. They're able to wait even longer. Passing game has been huge so far tonight for the Wildcats.
Single running back in the backfield, John Kenny. Snap, handoff to Kenny, right up the middle. He finds some more running room. He picks up about 3 yards before he's taken down. Not a lot of room in there. Good blocking by Mike DeLucia.
Seeing them probably running another play just to waste more clock so Fishermen can't have the ball before the half. Remember, Wilmington gets the ball after the half as well.
That's the Patriots strategy, right?
Mm-hmm. I'd follow Bill Belichick too.
So let's see if the Wildcats can drive this one in. Roberts splits out wide to the right. Connor Benoit split on the right. Ducharme looks left. Smith downfield. Man, it's overthrown. Intended to Ducharme down by the goal line.
Looked like he had Ducharme on the post, but just threw it a little behind him and too high. If he let him, it might have been a touchdown. So I was wrong about that one. They did not run the clock a little more.
Once again, probably 4 down territory. I saw Adam Bishop trying a few field goals or kicking the ball before the game tonight. He hit a couple long ones, I would say close to 35 yards, but this is going to be right about the maximum distance. And I don't know if we want to take a chance on having a block kick at this stage of the game.
They may want to get a few yards. And then
Kenny back to pass, and he's swamped. He's knocked down for a big loss.
After the sack, they may go for it. We're at the 2-minute warning now. Let's see what they do.
taken down at the 27-yard line. 4th and about 14. Okay, we have a whistle on the play. That we are at the 2-minute warning. Or maybe we already had the 2-minute one. The clock shows 1:40, but it says Gloucester just took a timeout. So maybe we missed it while we were commiserating about the weather or something.
Now they could, looks like they're just going to go for a big offensive play here. 1:40 left. If they get maybe a few yards, they'll still be good. Have the Fishermen deep in their own territory. Or they could go for it all, either one.
Okay. Cats come out. Duchamp split wide to the right. Roberts split wide to the left. A couple of men in the slot.
Looks
There's
like a false start.
False start by the
Late
Wildcats. Yep. It's going to put them back another 5 yards.
And now they may just run the ball. Stop the clock, though. It's going to be a questionable play on this one. They may just sling it and try to hold them if they don't get first.
Well, they're far enough into Gloucester territory that even if Gloucester takes over at this point, they'll be hard-pressed to march it down the field. Not that it couldn't happen, but
You could even surprise them with a drop kick. Try to drop it in the 10.
I like the way you're thinking. Okay, Roberts and Duchamp both on the left. Robarge on the right. Benoit on the right. Smith is running, being chased in the backfield. Another penalty marker on the play. It's complete, but that's going to come back. It's going to be holding in the backfield by the Wildcats. Now, the only question is, if they have holding, the Wildcats might punt the ball. If the play stands as it is, Gloucester's going to take over the first down inside about the 15 or 16-yard line.
Looks like the Fishermen will just take the ball. Don't want the clock to keep draining.
Yep. Yeah, so the penalty was declined against Wilmington. The play will stand. Came up short of the first down. So Gloucester takes over on downs at the 16-yard line.
You know, that worked out pretty well for Wilmington
Yeah,
in the end.
I guess a punt or an out-of-bounds play, whatever. Okay, Nelson holds the ball, hands off again with a big hole up the middle. Some running room to Pena Ortiz. Takes it outside the 30-yard line to about the 33, and Gloucester immediately calls timeout with a minute and a half.
That was easily
left
their
in the
biggest
first
run
half.
of the game. If he made that last person miss, he was gone, and it was going to be possibly tied.
Mm-hmm.
So that tackle was huge for the Wildcats.
Okay, so we have a first down for Gloucester at their own 32-yard line. Nelson back to pass, sprints out. He's in trouble, and they take him down. He almost broke free, but there were 4 defenders in there, including Paxton Cook, Kyle Kenyon. I think Brendan Ross was in there, so a nice stop by the Wildcats. Gloucester calls another timeout. Loss of 5 on the play for 2nd and 15 from their own 29.
It's a huge play for the Wildcats. It went on long. They got the sack, wasting even more clock. You know, they could even get the ball back, maybe, depending on how it goes.
WCTV will be covering the high school band's halftime show tonight. would be featuring senior drum major Andrew Dawson and junior drum majors Mike Shampoo and Samantha Marzi. Once again, they always put on a great show for the home crowd here at Wilmington. And I think they'll also be marching in the Halloween parade this coming Sunday down in the city of Woburn. So we're just about ready for action again. 2nd and 15. Long count again by Nelson. Hands off again to Pena Ortiz, who breaks, actually he's taken down on the far sideline by Jason Valley on a nice tackle.
Huge tackle by the captain on that one. That was a big play. If he got by him, he was going to get a big chunk.
Gained about 3 yards, and now Wilmington calls a timeout. 1:05 showing on the clock.
You know how we said that first half was quick?
Yeah, slowing down a little bit.
Lots of timeouts late, lots of penalties. That'll slow down the game.
So I'm sure Wilmington will try to play a little bit of a prevent here to keep the ball in at least from picking up 10 yards. Roberts on the line of scrimmage, back to pass. This actually was handed off. I tell you, there's some good ball handling on the Gloucester backfield there, but that didn't work for the Wildcats. James Nelson was stopped short. And it's going to be 4th and 11 for Gloucester.
Looks like they'll punt. Don't want to let the Wildcats get a big play.
And Wilmington calls a timeout, so they'll have a shot. 2 weeks ago, they blocked 2 punts, both resulting in touchdowns. But the Gloucester offensive line has done a pretty good job tonight up to this point. Even though it dawns on me that Gloucester hasn't punted yet. So they've done a great job on offense.
Yeah. It's always good to avoid punts.
Not in punt formation.
No punts, but no points. I guess some would say that's a decent combination. All right, here we go.
Gloucester hasn't had trouble scoring points up until this point this season, so it's 4th and 11. Kenny is back by himself at his own 35-yard line. Here come the Wildcats. It is blocked. Downfield at the 10. Roberts picks it up, and once again he is just knocked out of bounds by the goal line.
There was a flag on the play. It looked like Roberts came offside.
I think that's probably what happened, yes.
Which is not a good thing considering he wasn't even the one to block it.
Huge break for Gloucester here. I'm sure they'll still punt the ball away. I think it was Bailey Smith that got in there with Roberts. The blocker took Roberts, and Smith, I think, is the one that actually blocked the kick. And Roberts recovered it.
The big 5-yard penalty. We'll see if they change it up. I doubt it. I think they still should punt, but that took some time off the clock as well. Kenny is not up.
Kenny moves back in punt receiving mode at the 35-yard line. See what happens here. Let's not get another penalty. This time the ball does get away. Kenny takes it at his own 30, runs to the left, finds some running room to the 35, out to the 40, and he's thrown out of bounds at the 42-yard line on the Wilmington side of the field.
Solid return for John Kenny.
Both he and Tyler Roberts both have explosive speed when they get into the open field.
That's why it was a little shocking to see him punt it to him. Could have made a big play to end the half.
So the clock shows 39 seconds. Smith leads the team back out. Ducharme split wide to the right. Roberts split wide to the, Ducharme left. Roberts to the right. Smith back to pass. He scrambles He's still running. Good blocking. Man is open. Roberts on the sideline. He's out to the 40, and he's out to the 48-yard line where he's taken down. He came back for the pass, and Smith found him.
The hurry up on this one. 20 seconds left.
Smith is back to pass. No rush at all. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Tommy Robage down the sideline, and it went right into the hands of Oliver Emerson, who wasn't able to hold on to it. Almost a big mistake.
You know, things you don't really talk about on that play. Robage went directly for the tackle just in case.
Good heads-up play by Tommy. 3rd and 3. Clock only shows 7 seconds left, though.
We can play it safe or go deep. Playoff football changes your mind sometimes.
Just a reminder that we'll be covering the halftime show. And then after a break, plenty of second half action here on WCTV. Smith back to pass, and he scampers free, lets the ball go deep downfield, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by James Nelson, their quarterback and defensive back. So the half will end. We've reached triple zeros on the clock, and after the first half, the Wildcats of Wilmington 7, Gloucester Fishermen nothing. We'll be back with the halftime show right after this message.
We welcome the Wildcat fans.
Okay, we're ready for second half action here at Wilmington High School's Alumni Field. Great halftime show by the Wilmington High Band. Another great tribute. The cheerleaders and the Pop Warner cheerleaders and teams are all on the sideline as well. Got some nice recognition. So we're 7-0 at halftime. Wildcats will be receiving the second half kickoff. We did get some updates on the scores of other games going on in Division 4 North. Marblehead is currently up 14-6 against Wakefield. North Reading leads over down the street 7-0 against Wayland. And right now the surprise of the night, even though it's only halftime, Drake leads 10-9 over Melrose, number 1 seeded Melrose. So Fishermen are kicking off to the Wildcats. Ball is taken downfield. Fumbled, picked up by John Kenny. He breaks free at the 40. Takes it just over the 40-yard line up to the 42. Could have been a disaster for the Wildcats. Kickoff was a little bit short, bounced off the other receiver who was back for the Wildcats. I didn't catch who it was, and then fortunately they were able to jump on it and return it up another 15 to 17 yards or so. So Tyler Roberts leads the Wildcats out for the second half of action. I'm sorry, Graham Smith leads the Wildcats out. Ducharme splits wide to the left. Kenny alone in the backfield. Roberts at tight end. Handoff to Kenny, cuts back, finds, big open hole to the 50, to the 40. Breaks free to the 30, being chased down, knocked out of bounds at the 21-yard line. There's a flag on the play just the other side of midfield. And it's going to come back. Looks like it was holding against the Wildcats after it was partially downfield, so it'll cost them 10 yards, but it'll be 1st and 8 instead of something worse than that. 1st and 8 or 9. Just, he is so shifty, Scott. He just finds holes out of nothing. Benoit in the slot on the left. Ducharme split wide to the left. And off again up the middle to Kenny for no gain. He's stopped by the middle of the Fisherman defensive line.
Now that call could really alter this game. That was a huge play to start the half, and now we're here.
So Roberts splits far wide to the right. Robarge in the slot on the right. Smith back to pass, complete Robarge. He has it across midfield, brought down just shy of the first down.
You know, it's one of the few short passing plays the Wildcats use. Usually when it comes to short distances, they run the ball. That's a
3rd and a couple.
It's a good catch and run by Robarge.
See if the Wildcats can sustain this drive. So again, Ducharme split wide to the left, Robarge wide to the right, Connor Benoit in the slot on the right. Kenny alone in the backfield. Hand off to him, comes around right end, enough for the first down, breaks free, and he may go all the ways down to the 20, to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. No flags on the play. John Kenny takes it in from 49 yards out.
Wow, Kenny is explosive for this Wildcat team, and he proves it once again tonight with a huge run and a touchdown for the Wildcats, making it 13-0.
I know the you mentioned earlier the Tewksbury High School football team is watching this game tonight, and I'm sure they are taking notes, copious notes about the outcome of tonight's game. The game that doesn't mean anything except for bragging rights. Okay. Adam Bishop in for the extra point. Tristan Champa holds. Ball is up, and the ball is good.
Bishop looking great tonight on kicks.
He's stepped up his game tonight. Wildcats take a 14-0 lead with just under 9 minutes to go in the third quarter.
2 big offensive plays leads to 14-0 for the Cats.
We wait for the opening kickoff. Just a couple of reminders. The Shriners are having their annual Festival of Trees taking place on the weekend of the 15th, 16th and 17th of November up at the Shriners Auditorium here in Wilmington. It's open to the public. It's a great fundraiser for them, for a great organization that does so much, not only for the community, but for burn victims all over the world. And also the same night, November 17th, the Rotary Club of Wilmington is holding their annual auction. $10,000 raffle tickets are available from any Rotary member, or you can go on to wilmingtonrotary.org and contact any member to get raffle tickets at $100 a piece. Only 350 sold. $15,000 in prizes are given away that night. Once again, that's November 17th at the Wilmington Knights of Columbus, and you get your Christmas shopping started as well. Adam Bishop ready to tee the ball up at the 40-yard line. He steps into it, kicks it deep downfield, taken at the 15-yard line. Some good running room down the sideline, and he's stopped at the 38-yard line.
By John Kenny once again.
John Mondello in the return.
I feel like when we're calling these games, we say John Kenny a bit.
Gloucester will take over first and 10 at their own 38-yard line.
Bishop with probably his best kickoff of the season as well.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I think Coach Turner will worry about it after the season, but there's going to be some significant spaces to fill in next year's football team here.
Lots of seniors this season.
Nelson brings the team out at the 38-yard line, man in motion. Handoff, stopped in the backfield. There was a flag on the play, probably an illegal procedure. Stop the no gain. The whistle blew before the play was actually in motion, so it'll still be first down for Gloucester. Brings the ball back to the 33-yard line. We hope you're enjoying tonight's coverage on Wilmington Community Television. If you're watching us online, or even if you're not, log on to WCTV.org. Watch all the games in high definition. Just click on the on-demand button. Handoff to, there's another flag on the play. Handoff was to Mark Smith, who gained a couple of yards on the left side.
Mark Smith on the carry. There's a flag down on the play.
Looks like it's going to be another penalty against Gloucester. I'm going to guess holding. It is, and Coach Turner says, let's take that penalty, move him back another 10 yards. Going to bring the ball back to the 23-yard line.
It'll be first down and 25.
So Gloucester is shooting themselves in the foot here early in the third quarter. And when Gloucester is called a timeout, Coach Tony Zarelli wants to have a discussion with his team. Let's not be too sloppy as we start the second half. I'm sure they had a nice conversation at halftime, only down 7 points, and probably is wondering what happened to the results of that halftime pep talk. Another reminder while we're waiting, on the weekend of December 2nd and 3rd, We're One Wilmington is sponsoring their annual Festival of Trees over at Villanova Hall. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday, the 2nd and 3rd. You can sponsor a tree, or if you just want to go and get into the Christmas holiday spirit, it's a great place to take it on. We're One Wilmington, great community organization here in Wilmington. Becky McGrath is one of the spearheads of that program over there. So if you can contact her, there's also a website you can log on to. So Gloucester has the ball first and 20. Back to pass, and he's, oh man. And that's going to be a penalty. And Kyle Kenyon slammed James Nelson to the ground. I'm sure it's going to be called unnecessary roughness, but once again, Nelson, I think, was getting ready to unload the ball, and Kenyon, yeah, that's what it's going to be, roughing the passer. I don't know how you rough the passer when you don't throw the ball.
Personal foul for roughing the passer.
It's a tough call.
Yeah, it's going to give Wakefield a huge first down when they were facing 1st and 25.
Didn't look that bad from up here.
Did I say Wakefield? Did I say Gloucester?
Yeah.
Anyway, Gloucester.
Fisherman. There we
the
go.
Fisherman.
And Nelson will come out of the game after that hit. Bringing in senior Matthew Smith.
Smith has been the starting quarterback for a good part of the season thus far. Brings the ball all the way out to the 30, almost the 39-yard line.
Essentially back to where they were at 1st and 10.
Handoff up the middle, cuts free, taken down. Nice tackle on the play by Bailey Smith. Had a hold of his leg, wouldn't let him go, along with Mark Nerenstadt.
Getting back to that call, that's a big call for this football game. That was going to set them way back to 3rd and very, very long.
You know, both of the serious penalties have gone against the Wildcats tonight. One on the punt and one on that. You know, it's good, tough football. I don't know. Maybe I know they want to protect the kids. That makes sense. So the running back sprints out to the left and looks like he's got enough for first down at the 50-yard line. That was Jan Pena-Ortiz.
Big change in this football game. You could feel the momentum swinging after that call.
Brendan Ross comes back into the game for the Wildcats on the defensive line. Nerenstadt comes out.
This might be Nerenstadt's first play. He's missing.
Smith calling signals. He hands off up the middle again. Another big hole. Good tackle on the play by Tommy Robarge, but another big gain by the Fishermen. Handoff was to Ryan Argentino.
Looks like the Wildcats are a little, they don't know what to do right now after such a big play being called back. Turner may want to call a timeout and reassess the team.
6:15 to go in the third quarter. Smith is still in a quarterback. Handoff up the middle, and he stopped for no gain, but maybe enough for a first down. Right out to the 40-yard line of the Wildcats. And it will be enough for a first down.
Since Smith has come in, no passes. All handoffs, and it's working for the Fishermen.
Smith calling signals. Handoff again to Pena-Ortiz, and he finds some running room off to the left side where he's taken down. Good tackle on the far side by John Kenny again.
If he didn't get tripped up at the line, it looked like he was going to have a big gain on that one.
Picked up 2 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 8 at the 38-yard line of the Wildcats.
Feels like when the Fishermen have the ball, that clock just dwindles down a lot quicker.
Handoff again to Pena-Ortiz. Finds about 2 yards of running room. Stopped just shy of the 35-yard line.
Wildcats defensively looking like the first half again. As they get closer to their end zone, they seem to tighten it up and shut down the run more often.
Baxton Cook comes off for breather. Nerenstadt comes back on. Anchor the defensive line. It's going to be 3rd down and 6 for the Fishermen. It's like Argentino and Peña Ortiz in the backfield. Back to pass. And it's incomplete downfield. A couple of Wildcats had Smith lined up in the backfield. Couldn't quite get to him.
Smith's first pass of the ball game looked a little inaccurate on that one.
Yeah, brings up 4th down for the Fishermen at the 36-yard line of the Wildcats. Big 4th down call here.
This play could go a long way in deciding this one. If they get stopped, Wildcats could make it a real tough deficit.
Put them in a real good field position. So. One receiver out to the right, everybody else pretty tight along the line of scrimmage. Back to pass again is Smith, and it's incomplete. Peña Ortiz was open going down the left flat.
Looks like if he could have led Peña Ortiz on that one, he was going to score. But he underthrows it.
He's wide open.
Be the Wildcats football.
So yeah, Wildcats take over. A big 4th down stop, and they're in great field position at their own 36-yard line to start their next drive. So Michael Ducharme comes out wide to the left. Robage split wide to the right. Connor Benoit in the slot. Hand off the middle to Kenny. Again, he goes for about 2 or 3 yards.
You know, the Fishermen have the safeties up, so if they want to try to burn them on a deep pass, they could. I'm actually expecting a deep route right now if the safeties are up. Coach Turner could see it. He'll want to take care of it like he did in the first half.
Kind of flat pass out here to Robage, who finds a little bit of running room. Actually breaks free just shy of the 1st down. He almost gets out to the 45-yard line.
Robage has been impressive after the catch so far today. Some good gains on the catch and run.
Now this is once again where the value of John Kenny is fully appreciated. They have to watch him. He's been so quick coming out of the backfield, and it does open up the passing game. Benoit is in the slot. Ducharme wide left. Hand off to Kenny. Tries to make it around the corner, and he's not going to make it this time. Knocked out of bounds at about the 42-yard line.
That's a huge stop for the Fishermen. Sometimes on those plays, they even look for Roberts on the short gains, using the bigger man, but on that one, they were stopped.
4th down and 3, and I'm sure the Wildcats will be punting here. The punt team comes in. Graham Smith will be punting, I think, only for the 2nd time tonight.
No need to push in, give them good field position.
Mark Smith and it's like John Mondello back deep for the Fishermen. Kick is away. It's a good one. Fair catch signaled for and taken to the 22-yard line by John Mondello, number 43.
You know, they have an interesting way of punting. It seems Smith likes to wait, maybe find a crease, maybe fake him out, but that was a huge punt, and that drops them way back in their own zone.
I think where the professional rules require only two men to leave the line of scrimmage at the time of the punt, high school's a little bit different. You know, it's worked a couple times for him, but it also backfired, if you recall, a few weeks ago. So Gloucester takes over at their own 23-yard line. Just under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Matt Smith is still in at quarterback for the Fishermen. Handoff up the middle for little or no gain. Paxton Cook in on the tackle. It's like Jason Valley in there too, gain of 2 yards.
Smith's still in the game. Nelson has yet to be seen to come back. He may still be injured.
Mondello and Pena-Ortiz in the backfield. Pitches out to Pena-Ortiz. Wildcats have him hemmed in a little bit. Picked up a few yards on the sweep. Knocked down just shy of the 30-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd and about 4 for the Fishermen. Another big 3rd down coming up for Gloucester. Position on the field where it's going to be crucial for them to punt the ball away. They can't take a chance at 4th down this deep in their own territory. Brendan Ross comes in, Paxton Cook comes out. I'll tell you, Roberts is menacing there, right over the defensive line. Man in motion, back to pass is Smith, and it's incomplete once again. Good coverage by the Wildcats. Pat Carroll down there, Mike Ducharme in the backfield, Jason Valley.
Lots of hesitation by Smith on that one.
I think anytime you're running toward Tyler Roberts' side of the field, you have to keep your head up and you focus on what's going on, because Tyler is one tough kid.
He's going to get through that line. It's just a matter of when.
Kenny standing back and punt. There's no 40-yard line to receive the punt. 4th and 4 for the Fishermen. And it's over his head. And he's going to be taken down in the end zone for a safety.
That's a tough play for the Fishermen. That's going to set them back even more.
The Wilmington punt coverage team continues to have huge plays. Not much effort there on their part. I mean, they went back into the end zone, but 2 more points for the Wildcats, puts them up 16-0 with 17 seconds left, and Gloucester is going to have to punt from their own 20-yard line. Wilmington will be receiving the ball probably close to the, not much beyond the midfield stripe.
You know, the small things about the Wildcats today, the special teams has been fantastic. The kicking, the punting, and the stops like that. That's been a big difference in this ball game for field position and whatnot.
And this is a very good team that Wilmington's playing tonight, Scott. I mean, Wakefield is 5-2. They've hung into every game that they've been in. They lost 2 games, but neither one were they blown out.
They've been a high-scoring team all season. This is a great defensive effort by the Wildcats. With 16-0 with 17 seconds left. Wildcats look to get the ball back.
Okay. One of the Gloucester players, maybe he's just getting directions on the sideline, but he's way offside. Okay, he's going back now behind the 20-yard line, so it'll be a free kick from the 20.
Took a while.
Kenny's got somebody else in the backfield with him.
Devin
Clerico is in the backfield, number 25, with Kenny, number 26. Ball comes down at the 40-yard line. Clerico has it, and he's taken down at the 44-yard line. So that's where Wilmington will take over as the 3rd quarter starts to wind down. We may get one play off here in the before the end of the quarter.
You know, look to see the Wildcats pound the rock a lot, waste a lot of time with a 16-point lead. You know, after that safety, it makes the Fishermen have to go for 2 every time now.
Yeah, that was a big point. You're right. Not everybody gets 2-point conversions except the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Smith hands it off to Kenny. Around the left end, he breaks free, gets over midfield. He's knocked out of bounds.
And John Kenny has been impressive all season long, and it's another big run by him.
Down to the 46-yard line, almost 10 yards. In fact, they'll give him 10 yards. You know, as we're watching the play take hold in front of us, it doesn't look like there's any running room, and he squeezes through there.
He makes it look easy, which being a running back in football is never easy.
Okay, that's the end of the 3rd quarter here at Wilmington High School. Wildcats are up 16-0. We'll take this quick station break, and we'll be back in a minute for the fourth quarter action. Back at Wilmington High School, Chris Neville, Scott Edwards here on the play-by-play of tonight's game. Wilmington has the ball 1st and 10 at the Gloucester 46-yard line. We just got notified that Marblehead is currently up 21-6 in their playoff game. So if the Wildcats hang on here and Marblehead hangs on, the Wildcats will be traveling to Marblehead next week. Smith at quarterback. Bad snap. He's still running, and he goes down for a major loss. He lost about 10 yards on the play. Second or third time tonight, Scott, that we've had a bad snap from center.
Yeah, it's been a few this game. Thankfully, that one didn't go the way that the Fishermen's did.
So it's going to be 2nd and 20. Mike, our PA guy here, just reminded us all that both the girls soccer team and the girls field hockey team will be moving on to the playoff round in the next week or so. I think both of them have one game left in the regular season. So let's see what the Wildcats can do here. Kenny alone in the backfield. Roberts back. Pass flared out to Kenny. Finds a little bit of room. Man. It's across midfield to the 48-yard line. He picked up 8 yards, and he absolutely drilled the defender. I mean, John Kenny can't be any more than 150 pounds.
You know, the other teams probably underestimate him and say he's small, but man, he brings a tough punch. That was a big play.
So it's 3rd and 12 for the Wildcats. Again, back to pass. Smith throws it downfield, complete to Roberts. Breaks free, and he's taken down at the 42-yard line. Picks up about 6 or 7 yards on the play. It's going to leave 6 yards. 4th and 6 for the Wildcats. Let's see what Coach Turner decides to do here.
They will.
Yeah, probably making the wise decision, sending in the punt team.
No need to not trust that defense tonight.
Clock will tick away.
See if Smith can have another big one.
Great defense play by the Wildcats tonight. Once again, Payne Ortiz and Mark Smith. I'm sorry, it's Mondello and Smith, Matt Smith down in the return area.
Another good punt.
Ball bounces in Wilmington's favor. It's down inside the 15-yard line. Actually, right at the 15-yard line. Good punt by Smith.
8:53 left in the fourth. It's going to be tough for the Fishermen to come back now down 16, but nothing's never say never.
Take over with a sense of urgency, though. They really have to get the ball moving here. They haven't really been able to move the ball since early in the first quarter when they got down deep in Wilmington territory and then turned it over on downs.
They have yet to pass on first down. I wouldn't be surprised if they look to do that now after struggling on the past few drives.
So Smith is still in at quarterback. Back to pass, downfield, wide open, incomplete, off the fingertips. Intended for Oliver Emerson.
That was catchable. That would have been a big play if you could bring that one in.
Tall kid. He looks like he's about 6'2". Wasn't quite able to haul it in. He was on the coverage by Connor Benoit. 2nd and 10 at their own 15.
You know, the rush has been their key cog all season long, and Wildcats have shut that down. They may need to open it up more.
Handoff around the end. And it's snuffed out. Great play.
Jason Valley Big tackle.
Jason Valley on the tackle. Bailey Smith actually interrupted in the backfield over there. Thrown for a loss of 3 yards. Great coverage by the Wildcats on the defensive side there.
Kyle Kenyon comes in for Cook.
So this
Third
is
and
a
13. You got to think they're going to pass now.
huge third down for Gloucester. Back to pass. He's in trouble. He's being rushed in the end zone. It's passed out and incomplete. His receiver was open. Pena Ortiz unable to take it in. So once again, Gloucester is going to be faced with punt formation at their own 13-yard line. No choice here. 7:50 to go in the game. Kenny stands back near midfield.
They're looking to punt now, and they're going to need a big stop after this.
Evan Smith into punt for Gloucester. Gets that one away. It's a wobbly kick taken by Kenny at the 40 to the 35. And he's taken down just inside the 35-yard line. Taken down kind of hard.
You know, getting the ball in
Run the clock down.
the zone. They just got to pound the ball, bring that clock down with a 16-0 lead. You got to think if they're able to score, this game might be out of hand.
Coach Turner still talking to Graham Smith on the sideline. Smith comes out to lead the Wildcats. This time Roberts in the backfield, and Kenny splits out wide to the right, give them a different look. Smith keeps himself, goes up the middle, picks up almost 5 yards, 4 yards, stopped at the 30-yard line.
Definitely a different look on that one. You very rarely see Kenny in the outstretched wide.
Hey, these kids really have come in prepared for this game, as they have every game this season so far, Scott.
Yeah, Coach Turner has been on them and made sure that they are ready for every game. They're showing it here. It's been a great season for these Wildcats.
So Roberts is in the backfield now with Kenny. Hand up, back to pass. Smith lets it go downfield, wide open down the middle. Tyler Roberts, touchdown.
That's another huge play. They found a hole in the defense, and that will make it a huge lead for the Wildcats.
30-yard touchdown pass, Graham Smith to Tyler Roberts, and the Wildcats are starting to pour it on, 22-0 as we go for the extra point.
You got to think if Gloucester was wondering if they should really punt that one, even though they're deep, they're giving up. Had to trust their defense. Roberts with another huge play for this team.
Champa holding for Adam Bishop. Kick is good. The Wildcats jump out to a 23-0 lead here halfway through the fourth quarter.
Now, with all these big plays, you got to recognize how good Bishop has been tonight. He's 3 for 3, has some big kickoffs. And you know, a missed kick can change the momentum so much. He's kept it up.
It sure can. I know that I didn't do the research myself. I want to give the credit to the staff at the Town Crier for doing all the research, but Wilmington has not had a winning playoff game ever. They got into the playoff seeding here back between 2013 to 15. They were knocked out in the first round of every game. And then their only Super Bowl appearances, so the playoff appearances going back to the 1970s, they've lost. So not only is this a very important home game for them, but has the potential at 23-0 to be the first playoff win in program history. Certainly a tribute to Craig Turner and the rest of his staff and the players. Bishop tees the ball up at the 40-yard line. Smith and Mondello deep back. Good kick downfield inside the 15, taken by Smith. Cuts back to the right, and guess who's on him? Tyler Roberts drags him down from behind at the 30-yard line.
Roberts and Kenny really do it all for this team. They make big plays on both sides, and I feel like they're going to go somewhere.
He's supposed to be a baseball player, not a football player. Am I right?
Who?
Roberts?
No, Roberts
Smith?
Actually, Smith
Smith is the baseball
Smith
player.
is committed for baseball.
All right.
But Roberts also plays lacrosse. He's a very impressive athlete.
I think he's going to be playing ball somewhere next year for some school. Smith, actually, the James Nelson is back in with a sprint out to the right. Pena Ortiz gets bumped out on the right sideline.
You gotta think they were wishing Nelson was in a bit earlier, as once he got hit, the offense was having a tough time.
He was knocked out of the game on a huge hit by Kyle Kenyon in the third quarter early on. And penalty was called on it, but at least from up in the booth, it didn't look like a cheap hit, but he did knock him out for the better part of a quarter. Timeout on the field, and there's some discussion here between the sideline for the Wildcats and the officials. 1st and 10, Gloucester has the ball at their own 40-yard line. So no answer up here in the press box as to what's going on, but
looks like they had to change the clock on that one.
Nelson brings the team back out the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Once again, a long snap count. Hand off to Pena Ortiz around the right end. He runs for a gain of about 9 yards, where he's taken down in the backfield of the Wildcats.
Now, the Fishermen aren't going to give up. They're fighting for their season right now. They're going to play to the very last second.
Hurry up offense. Clock continues to tick. Back to pass. Throws it downfield. It's complete wide open down the middle. Good tackle in the play by Peter Marino in the backfield, but it's good for a first down.
You know, I could be wrong, but that might have been their first completion since the first quarter. That's how good this Wildcat defense has been.
And fumble in the backfield. Pena Ortiz dropped the handoff. He recovers his own fumble back at the 45-yard line. It's going to be a loss of about 8 yards. That's a big play.
That is a big play. It looked like they were gaining some confidence, and then after that botch, they'll go back and try to reassess the situation.
Once again, Ross comes into the game, and Paxton Cook comes out. A couple of fresh bodies. Mark and Nerenstadt throws a piece of equipment on the sideline. Back to pass. Smith lets it go downfield. It's incomplete. Nice defensive coverage.
Big play by Benoit. He was able to step up and deflect the pass.
Oh, it brings up a big third down play now. Benoit did take the receiver to the ground, but he was trying to tackle him with the impression that maybe the ball was complete. So he followed it right to the ground and made a nice play on it. So it's Nelson at quarterback. 2 men in the backfield. Emerson tight on the right side. Splits the tight end. Mark Smith off to the right side, who goes in motion. Back to pass is Nelson, and he's going to be brought down in the backfield.
Give credit to Ross and Roberts on that one for that sack.
Kyle Kenyon was standing right over to make sure he didn't get lost. So we have another official timeout on the field. One of the Gloucester players, actually it's the quarterback again, James Nelson, that's down.
He was shaking up the same arm.
That was a huge loss. It brings the ball back on the Gloucester side of midfield at the 48-yard line. And it's going to leave 4th and 20, I don't know, 4th, 25, somewhere around that.
You gotta hope that Nelson's okay.
Yeah.
You'd hate to see injuries out here.
Looks like maybe a collarbone, but he's moving. He's up and around, but I'm afraid his game may be over for tonight. So Smith comes back in, do or die for Gloucester. Less than 5 minutes to go in the game, and it's 4th and 32 is what it says in the scoreboard. Smith. There's another fumble in the backfield this time, and 3 or 4 tacklers had a shot at him. Brendan Ross and Kyle Kenyon took him down in the backfield for another loss, and Wilmington will take over on downs inside the 45-yard line.
What you like to see about that defense is they didn't give up. They didn't let up. They kept going, kept pushing it. And they'll take the ball back, 4:29.
Extremely impressive defensive performance by the Wildcats tonight.
They got to have at least 3 or 4 sacks. They've performed all night. Lots of tackles for loss. Even with some big penalties hurting them, they never let up.
Benoit and Ducharme on the left. Robarge on the right. Handoff up the middle to Kenny. Finds 3 or 4 yards. 3 yards. Stopped just shy of the 40-yard line. At this point here, I'm sure Wilmington's just going to keep the ball on the ground. Game is pretty much in hand. Robarge again split wide to the right. Benoit to the left. Smith keeps it, runs left with a big hold on the left sideline. He's crossed the 35 for a first down.
Another late flag.
Personal foul against Gloucester will bring it in another 15 yards. Bring the ball down to the 17-yard line.
I think their emotions are getting the best of them now. Late in this game, they don't want to see their season end, but.
And it was a close game right up to halftime. Wilmington put another score in the safety here in the second half, and yeah, I think the Fishermen are starting to see that this game is getting out of control.
Yeah, they let up on the timeouts. They seem to be accepting what's happening right now.
If you're watching this game, well, I guess Halloween or the first week of November, very likely the Wildcats will be traveling to Marblehead next Friday night for another big game in Division 4 North. Kenny, another huge gain, another penalty. I think that's going to maybe be a block on the back on the Wildcats. Kenny picked up very good running room on the right side.
Haven't seen burst like that in a high school game in a long time. Yeah. He knows what he's doing out there.
So that ball's going to come back at least 10 yards. I'm not sure what the spot of the foul was. Brings the ball back to the 17. So it basically brings it back to where it was at the last play from scrimmage. Just peeked around the corner here, and looks like the Tewksbury High football team is leaving. They've seen what they have to see. Kenny again, big hole on the left side. He's into the 5-yard line.
So if you put him back, he'll just keep going.
Just 13-yard gain. Makes it first down again for Wilmington. 2:37 to go in the first half, in the final, in the game. See, the ball is placed at the 6-yard line.
Clock keeps ticking. You can see the bench feeling it. You feel big game, big win possibly about to happen.
Okay, Benoit and Robard out split wide to the right, and there's a penalty marker again on the play. Probably a delay a game.
And wanted to waste as much clock as they could, I guess.
So that pushes them back just outside the 10-yard line. Wilmington still has the ball. It's first and goal. Wouldn't surprise me right now, Scott, to just see him run the ball up the middle, take a short gain or even a loss at this point. With 4 downs, the game will be just about over by the time we're here. 2 minutes and 7 seconds left to go in the game. Handoff up the middle to Kenny. Once again, he sprints wide to the right. He's down to the 5-yard line.
Score doesn't matter to him. He's just going to keep running hard and showing what he can do.
I think the play was designed for the middle of the line, and he just sprinted out to the right. So,
Second and goal, Wilmington from the 5-yard line.
Second and goal from the 5. Solid effort all around tonight for the Wildcats, and we've commented on the defense, but the offense stepped it up against again very good very good Gloucester team.
The win for the Wildcats is a history-making win. They want to keep pushing it.
Smith keeps it, runs up the middle, and he's in, standing up for a touchdown.
They keep adding on to the score. They're making the other teams look at them as a serious contender.
You know, great ball handling. It was a simple play right up the middle.
Everyone followed Kenny, so he kept it for himself, taking it in for the score.
So the Wildcats are up 29-0. Once again, Tristan Champer in for the hold. Adam Bishop in for the extra point. Just getting confirmation that Marblehead is still leading Wakefield at Marblehead High School, so that game will probably be next week. Time out on the field. We have an injury again on the Gloucester side of the ball. Reminder, this year the annual Santa's Breakfast at the Knights of Columbus Hall this year is going to be sponsored by the Sons of Italy. It's going to be held on Sunday, December 3rd at the Knights of Columbus Hall. There are 2 seatings available. The meal for breakfast, along with the visit from Santa, is $8 per ticket. There are 2 seatings. One is at 8:30 and one is at 10:30. And if you want to take your pen and pencil down, it's in the. It's going to be in the town crier and other places where you can check for it, but the number in the bulletin right now is to contact Tara, and her number is 978-758-0405, and you can contact her for tickets to Breakfast with Santa, this year sponsored by the Wilmington Sons of Italy, Knights of Columbus Hall, December 3rd. 2 seatings, 8:30 and 10:30. So the Gloucester lineman who was on the field is up on his own power, leaving the field. Want to thank our crew tonight. Adam Dusenberry, our producer-director, Don Laird on camera, George Breslin on camera, and Zach Weinstein and Andrew Gattineri. Also manning cameras up here in the stands. So we hope you've enjoyed tonight's coverage. For Scott Edwards and Chris Neville, it's been a good game for Wilmington. And for the 4th time tonight, Adam Bishop's kick is right through the uprights. Wildcats are up 30-0.
It's been a great game for the Wildcats, and they continue to roll on. 30-0, putting a mark on this game. Coach Turner coached them the best way he could. He'll be proud of the effort by his team tonight. A full team effort.
Absolutely. And so it looks like right now the Wildcats will be traveling up to Marblehead High School next Friday night. Marblehead is undefeated on the season at this point. They're ranked number 2 in Division II North. I'm sorry, Division 4 North. Looks like we got a lot of the underclassmen come in for the kickoff coverage. Once again, Bishop will be doing the kickoff, but a lot of clean jerseys come in for the kick coverage here. But actually, there's a few of the regulars are out there as well.
Yeah, I think they might be seniors playing their last big game. Unless something absolutely crazy happens.
Kick is downfield. It's going to fall short, and one of the defenders jumps on it.
Wilmington almost took possession again. That was a weird one.
Yeah, they've had some luck with that this year. Harrison Marshall jumped on the kick at the ball at the 28-yard line, so that's where Gloucester will take over with just a little over a minute to go in the game. Yeah, Bishop's had a great game tonight. He's been solid all season. You know,
this has to be his best game. He showed up in the biggest game of the season, and you know Coach Turner's gonna love that.
And right now we got a lot of players shuffling in and out of the lineup. A lot of underclassmen, not only on the line but in the linebacker spot, defensive backfield. Handoff up the middle. Boy, good ball movement. I didn't see it, but looks like Pat Carroll is in on the tackle. And now they all come out. It's like Dylan Bresnahan, Mark Narenstant, Tyler Roberts are all back on the field. Actually, Graham Smith just came out. Oh, there was a fumble. Who knew? Did you see the fumble?
I did not see the fumble.
Well, there was a fumble on the play. Wildcats take over, and they're in their own 29-yard line. The clock, I'm sure, is just going to wind down now. Smith takes a knee at the 34-yard line.
The Wildcats are winning formation. This will be their first win in the playoffs in a long time. What a season for them.
Actually, it's ever. First
Sorry,
playoff win ever.
That's even more impressive. You got to think this team feels real special, and they've been a special team all season long.
They certainly have. Should be a great game next week.
Down in Marblehead, right, it looks like. I could say North Reading did pull out the win against Wayland.
Really? Okay.
They did.
Well,
with 0 seconds left on the clock. They get a field goal to win.
Graham Smith takes a knee, 40-yard line. There's clock ticks down to 10 seconds. The game is, for all purposes, over. So congratulations to the Wilmington Wildcats as they succeed in their first playoff victory ever, as they shut out the Gloucester Fishermen 30-0 here at Wilmington's Alumni Field. A lot of happy people here at Alumni Stadium. We want to thank you for joining us for tonight's coverage on Wilmington Community Television. Once again, we're looking for people to cover some of the fall and winter athletic sports teams, basketball, hockey. If you'd like to consider joining us and giving some of your classmates some attention, certainly contact the studio down at WCTV 657-4066. We'll give you free coverage, free training, free use of the equipment. And as we're watching, a lot of celebratory Wildcats coming onto the Wilmington side of the sideline here. So congratulations to Coach Craig Turner and the Wildcats. Very impressive victory tonight. Any last thoughts, Scott?
That was the best game I think they've played all season, and it came in the biggest game of the season. Now they look to go to Marblehead and keep it rolling. We'll be cheering for them, and we hope to be back.
Certainly against one of the best opponents. We want to thank you for joining us tonight. Final score for the final time: Wilmington 30, Wakefield 0. Looking forward to seeing you again in an upcoming game on WCTV. Good night.